Welcome to this brand new Create a Club series for Union Leipzig, where I'm going to act as the manager in their mission to take down Red Bull and become the best team in Germany. So here's how it works. I'm going to play every single game without any pre-scripted events, and then I'll be using ChatGPT to act as the board and create dynamic events and player sales. So anytime you're going to see these little cutscenes in the series, you know that these events were randomly generated. And all I'm going to be doing is acting as the manager. Everything else is handled by the board, just like in real life. But the twist for this series is that there's going to be different managers. Each of them's going to have their own play styles and formations, so if we do bad and the manager gets sacked, we're going to bring in a new one and then have to pretend to be them instead. So that's how it's going to work, and without further ado, let's get straight into the backstory. It's going to start here with Union Leipzig being founded by wealthy Leipzig businessman Frederick Vogel, who hates the commercialization of modern football. He wants to make a team that respects the fans and the culture and fights against teams like RB Leipzig, who are going to be our rivals. But we got a long way to go. We're starting in Division 3 and we're going to have to work our way up. We have no stadium, no manager, and not even any players yet, so we're really starting from scratch. But we get a huge boost right away because this mission resonates with a lot of people, including some old German legends who want to help save their country from the influence of big money. So the first event here is that 5 German icons are joining our project. Lahm, Schweinsteiger, Podolski, Klose, and Mertesacker are all becoming founding members for Union Leipzig. Now, we might be a new club, but the opportunity to come work under these legends is some serious pulling power. We have no shortage of options, and signing players during tryouts around the country, and in just a week, we're able to draft a team of our best talents. These include players like Simon Wolf, who's probably the most talented of the bunch, an attacking midfielder with a killer eye for a pass, and our striker, Nico Fofana, who has some really dynamic link-up play and creativity that I love already. We have an experienced goalkeeper in Stefan Kraus, who's going to look really good at the back, and our captain, Nico Becker, a giant center back who I think is going to look great in our back line. But we still have some work to do to start our season. We don't have a manager or a place to play. So first up, let's start with the stadium. Now, the owner has announced he's funding ourselves a modern new stadium with his money, but it's going to take 4 seasons to complete. So in the meantime, we're going to be sharing a stadium with local smaller club Lokomotiv Leipzig, who are happy to support this ambitious project. So we'll check in with construction from time to time. And the final thing we need now is a manager. And the board settled on a completely unknown manager, Dennis Binder. He's only ever managed in the lower divisions, so this is a very unpopular pick. But like I mentioned, in this series, we're going to be acting as the current manager, which in this case means Dennis Binder. We're going to be unproven and looking to show the world that we can succeed here. We're going to focus around a fluid system with a particular focus on possession and interchangeable positions. And our preferred starting formation is 3-4-3, which means we have to at least start there. We can always change if it doesn't work, but this is kind of how the manager would like to play. Now, every manager in this series is also going to have a set of unique traits that determine how they play, and in this case, ours fits the idea of a fluid system. Versatility means we'll be able to teach any player in the team a new position with 0 penalty, which is going to come in handy as we try to make sense of all the players in a brand new team. So here's our starting point, a 3-4-3. I'm going with a tiki-taka preset to start. I mean, I think this embodies the idea of possession play. So this is going to be our starting 11. I'm not going to worry too much about more detailed tactics until we at least know who our best players are. But before we dive into the games, the final touch is our sponsor for the season. Spread Group, a local Leipzig business that really embodies what this team is about. We're not out to make huge brand deals. We want to support local businesses and ultimately the fans and the culture of the city we represent. So with everything set, we are ready to start our first ever season, and the owner reaches out to let us know for now the pressure is off and it's expected we probably will have a slow start to life. So our only objective all season is to avoid relegation. It's going to take time to build something here, and we're going to focus our entire first season on figuring out who's our best players and what kind of system is going to fit them best. So we'll get to know all the players as we go, but again, this is the starting 11 going into our first preseason game. Let's get to the action. All right, well, it's a historic moment, the first ever match for new club Union Leipzig, and us as Dennis Binder, the manager. And funny enough, our first ever game is going to be against Stuttgart's B team, which is actually going to be a team we'll see in league matches throughout the season. So it's a good benchmark for us against the level of teams we're going to be playing during the season. And as we get things started, the most important thing is just going to be getting this idea of possession football across. It's not easy to do for a team of players that have literally zero chemistry, have never played together, and are mostly unproven completely. But I think we're going to have to look towards some of our best players, like here, Simon Wolf, as he takes a shot from distance. Like I said, on paper, he's probably our best player at 64 overall. And so far, so good from Union Leipzig. We've had the majority of possession 10 minutes into the game here, and honestly, we're looking a lot more comfortable than I thought. Fofana's doing a really good job linking up play as kind of a false nine up top, and then our winger, Soko, gets on the ball. These are some good chances, and I think we're already getting a feel for who some of our best players are going to be. Now, we just saw a good opportunity from our left winger, but it's actually the young 19-year-old teenager on the right wing who I'm most excited about in this team. Emeka Obi has some really good footwork and dances past his opponent, putting a ball into the box, looking for Fofana. It doesn't quite come off, but that's a really good sign from the teenager. And out of all the young talent in this team, he seems to be the best. And in addition to some good glimpses up top already, our defense looks relatively good. As the captain, Becker, makes a couple good blocks in the center of defense, we hang on to a 0-0 scoreline. It hasn't been amazing yet, but really promising signs. And I think one of the biggest talents in this team is going to be our left center back, Lucas Schultz. He's an excellent passer of the ball. I say that as he gives the ball away right here, and we could be caught out as there's someone straight down the middle. That's a goal. We just conceded our first in preseason, and unfortunately for us, I think it's going to take some time to figure out this possession-based style. It was just kind of a mistake from the center mid there. I think that was a fine pass to make, but down here in Division 3 and with the players we've got available, it's going to take time to get some chemistry and not make those kind of silly mistakes. Overall, I think we've looked good, but this could be a sign we have to be more careful on defense. Now, I know we're chasing a goal, but I genuinely think we've been the better team so far. It was just an unfortunate accident. Outside of that, we're looking pretty confident. As Emeka Obi comes forward, he has the composure to pick out Stein ahead of him, and we just get the ball to Soko. He's been our biggest threat, actually, the left winger. And as Wolf picks him out, Soko might have an opportunity here, making a direct run inside. He cuts inside and shoots. Really close yet again. Now, overall, we've been in complete control of this game. But again, we find out our weakness looks like it's going to be getting caught in transition. As we give the ball away, our defensive high line is pretty susceptible to counterattacks, especially our center back. Becker is strong, but he's not very fast. And unfortunately, we're on the losing end of our first ever game, but I'm not going to be too down about it. I genuinely thought that was a solid performance. All right, well, next up, it's an English team as we take on Morecambe. I'm going with the same starting 11 as last time. I think it looks so promising, there's no need to change things up. And you know, one thing I'm realizing is one of the most important players for this system is going to be Lucas Schultz, our ball-playing center back who does so well to split the lines just like that and progress the ball forwards. I think we're going to need to have players who are comfortable playing out from the back in order to keep possession the way we want. And Schultz is doing an exceptional job at that. He continually passes the ball all the way through the lines and gets it straight to our striker, bypassing the midfield. It's such a good option to have. And now Wolf is through. This could be a really good opportunity as our attacking midfielder goes for goal. It's so close, but just off. And it seems like the running theme of our offense here is going to be how Fofana brings the rest of the players into play. He's more of a hold-up kind of striker, and his interchanges with both Wolf and Soko are looking really sharp. And although this one doesn't quite come off, I'm loving the kind of little passes around the box we're seeing. And we're completely dominating possession, but again in transition is where we look to be caught out. Our defense looks really disorganized when teams are direct with their passing. We're conceding a lot of chances. And if we stick to this kind of defensive line, I think we're going to need to be careful with the players we pick. Nico Becker is a really good defensive center back, but with such a high line, he's getting exposed a handful of times already. But we're still scoreless 60 minutes in here, and the only change I can think of is maybe at striker. Fofana's actually been really good, but we do have another option, Tobias Bergman. Now, he's a completely different type of striker. This guy's more of a target man. He's tall, he can finish. Maybe he won't be as good with the ball, but we gotta at least try something when we need a goal in a game. Maybe I'm focusing on the wrong end of the pitch, because the truth is we're conceding a lot of chances right now, and defense is at the forefront as Kraus makes an amazing save. Really well done from the goalkeeper. We've looked a little bit shaky at the back, definitely more so in this game than last. But thankfully, in possession, it does seem like we have players just really good on the ball and able to play all the way through the lines, as Bergman does a really good job with hold-up play there. Soko has a man ahead of him, and it's the center back, Lucas Schultz, making a run all the way up the pitch. Well, out of all the players so far in preseason, I think maybe I'm the most impressed with him. Schultz looks so composed. I don't think we looked at his stats earlier, but he's only 20 or 21, I think. A lot of room to grow, and easily one of the most confident players on the pitch. Can we generate something here, though, before time is up? Soko with the ball on the wing, and he has a target man ahead of him. Bergman heads it down at goal. And unfortunately, the game ends scoreless. That's 2 games in a row. We still have yet to score a goal as a team. Now, thankfully, one thing we've done a great job with already is possession. 68% of the ball. We're doing a good job. I think the system is right. Maybe it's just the players we need to still kind of tweak. Fofana has looked good in the link-up play like I mentioned, but I'm going to try starting Bergman up top in our 3rd game. Maybe we just need somebody who can get goals if the rest of the team can generate chances. But I think realistically, it's going to take every position in the team a while to sort of gel, as we suddenly find ourselves facing a lot of chances early in our 3rd game. I mean, everything from the defense to the offense probably is going to need a lot of improvement. It's going to take us weeks or months to even figure out who the best players in our starting 11 are going to be. One of them, I think, is Wolf, as he does a really good job playing out from the center of midfield, and maybe even young Emeka Obi as he charges forwards. He's definitely raw, but there's a lot of potential there as he cuts inside. Emeka Obi, the chance, the shot, the goal! First ever goal for Union Leipzig, and it's scored by teenage Emeka Obi. This guy looks really talented. I'm glad we've been starting him since the beginning. He's not the highest rated just yet, but I think potential is probably a lot higher than the rest of the players in our squad. And we're looking for goals. Maybe our wingers are the solution. That was a great shot. If that's what he's capable of, this kid could go on to do a lot for us. And now it's all eyes on the defense. We've gotten a goal, but we're going to have to keep a hold of that if we actually want to win our first ever game. We're conceding a lot of chances already, as our defense still has a lot of work to do to actually look organized. But thankfully, one of our underrated players so far has been the goalkeeper, Kraus. He's made a couple outstanding saves, but a goalkeeper bailing us out consistently is going to be a sustainable way for us to defend. And again, Becker just gets caught out in midfield. He's a little too slow to be able to close down the passing lanes, and we concede a goal and blow our lead. And unfortunately, one thing I've noticed is with Fofana not playing, sure, Bergman is a better option as a target man, but the fluidity of passing is just not the same. We're having a harder time interchanging those little balls through, and some mistakes in passing mean we're not creating as much. And in our 3rd match here, honestly, we're creating less and less every single game of preseason. I thought we looked really bright in our first, but the momentum has definitely been against us in this one, as once again, a failure to close down means we concede a second and are suddenly losing this match. Now, I think everybody needs to improve, but one player I've been really disappointed by is Becker, who just seems unable to close down chances, and for a player we gave the captain's armband to, has not looked good at all. Well, it's a 3rd game in a row without a win, and although it's probably expected for a new club, I was particularly disappointed in this game. We got absolutely walloped. 2.8 expected goals to our 0.1. We have a long way to go as a team. Thankfully, the story here was that Emeka Obi scored a promising goal. We do still have some players we can be excited and rally around. But all of a sudden, preseason's up. We don't have time to experiment anymore. We're taking on the German Cup and a Division 2 side. This is going to be a massive test for us in our first real professional match. Now, unfortunately, I think it's clear that a 3 at the back, especially against a team that's way better than the ones we just played in preseason, is not going to work. So I'm going to slightly tweak it just to a back 5 instead, structurally still very similar to the way we've been playing, but hopefully we can play this way to at least keep chances to a minimum. So here we go, the first ever competitive match for Union Leipzig against a team that are honestly strong favorites to win against us, but that kind of takes the pressure off. with no expectation of like winning this game for sure. Any kind of positive result would be welcome, but even if we don't win, I think we're going to try to just take away the positives. We're still looking for players to step up and ones we can rally around as we figure out our best starting 11. But unfortunately, it looks like our defense is such a weak point in this team as we concede off basically the kickoff. We haven't even touched the ball yet, and we find ourselves a goal down. And it makes it even more embarrassing that I set us up with a back five specifically to try to look better defensively. But honestly, the team looks shaken from the get-go here as we're pretty clearly outclassed by a team an entire division above us. And honestly, even in Division 3, I think we're probably going to be the worst team to start the season. There's a long way to go here for Union Leipzig as, oh my lord, we concede a second. In the blink of an eye, we're down 2, and suddenly all the hope is vanishing from this game. And when you get off to such a bad start, a team that has no chemistry and no real experience or leadership, things are going to fall apart incredibly quickly. And unfortunately for us, the game just keeps going south. We look so stretched on defense on the counter, and none of our back line is able to close down again. That's comically bad defending. And to be transparent with you guys, while I'm playing with the minimized player indicators, it's so hard to see who I have selected. Maybe this is something that I need to get adjusted to as we play through this series, but I mean, that's 3 goals within a single half of football. It's really poor from Leipzig overall, and genuinely, we've just been outclassed. So I don't even know if it's worthwhile here at halftime, but I feel like something's gotta give. The back 5 hasn't been working. Let's at least try to create chances. I'm gonna switch things up. I'm actually gonna try 4 at the back. That'll at least give us 3 players in midfield. The defensive midfielders should be able to help out defensively, and maybe we'll get more control of the game. And I think as we go, we're just going to have to build around the players who are capable of playing this system. And as I've mentioned a few times, Lucas Schultz playing those balls out from the back is going to be a player to build this system around. He's the kind of player we need. And maybe Emeka Obi is in there too, as he's able to stretch the game out on the wings and cut inside. He looks dangerous. It's just sloppy though. I mean, it's definitely been far from a beautiful game offensively for us. We're barely even able to pass it around. The players who generally look sharp like Fofana, I mean, they're just stripping us of the ball. And I think at this point, when there's such a discrepancy between the quality and teams, I don't know what we could hope for here. We concede a 4th. I mean, it's an abysmal first competitive match, but more or less to be expected. I just hope this doesn't hit the morale of the team too hard. Well, that's the final score, 4-0. I think the less said about that game, the better. Let's just focus on our first game in the league now. Oh, well, that is a sobering view. 3 losses and a draw. We still have yet to win a game. We gotta figure something out going into the season here. It just hasn't been working for us. Now, I've stuck with the 3-4-3 that we're supposed to kind of start with, but that doesn't mean we can't adapt as we go. So I know that was preferred, but I'm gonna just try something else. If we want possession, I think we need more players in midfield. So I'm gonna try this. A 4-3-3. It looked a little better at the tail end of last game, but in terms of players, I still don't feel like I know who our best players are. This guy I didn't even play at all, but Kruger is a box-to-box mid who has a ton of energy. I feel like he could play well as a defensive mid, and maybe with Wolf ahead of them, that'll look good. I'm not even sure at this point. I'm gonna try a proper right back this time, and maybe this guy, Kouyaté, as a defensive mid. I mean, that's kind of where he's listed, so maybe he'd play well there. I don't know. I'm going to put him on the bench for now. We'll have to see. I don't know. It's a big gamble to change things up going into our first league game, but I just don't feel like I have a choice outside of that. This is the lineup we're going with. Maybe it's kind of bold, but honestly, we just need something to hopefully start getting results. Alright, well here we go. Our first ever game in Germany's 3rd division. This is the ultimate test for us. All the work we did in preseason trying to figure out who the players were didn't come to that much. I still don't feel like I have a great sense for how to set this team up or who to build around. Maybe a few key signs, but honestly we've looked to have more troubles than things going well for us, I guess you could say. Unfortunately, Union Leipzig still have a long way to go, but that's what this career is going to be all about as we build for the future. This is a long-term project and generally expected as Union Leipzig are starting completely from the bottom here. A good chance goes wide. Fortunately, we already look on the back foot here. I think patience has to be the message here. It's just going to take us time to figure things out. But in the meantime, things might look kind of ugly here, as again, our defense looks pretty wobbly. The goalkeeper's forced into action, but Kraus has looked really good. Honestly, one of our better players in the back line, although it's not exactly convincing from anybody right now, as we're just leaking passes through. It seems like nothing we can do gets the ball away from our box. On the bright side, I think stretches like this, it's going to make it pretty clear who the best players are when they can step up against the odds when things aren't going well. And I think the only signs we've had so far are some of our attacking players as Obi has a clever flick through Fofana with a good chance. That's more like it. And that's the kind of link-up play we can get from our creative players. That was a really solid opportunity we haven't seen in a while. But once the ball comes back into our half, I mean, it's just so chaotic. I can't seem to close down any of the opportunities coming our way. And fortunately for us, the goalkeeper does remain firm. And as the game goes on, we're starting to get a little more into things. As Lucas Schultz drops into midfield, we play the ball through. Obi has a chance. It's a poor shot from the teenager. But again, good link-up play between him and Fofana. We're taking it into the second half. Scoreline is still level. We don't have to panic just yet. Hasn't been quite as bad as some of our other showings, and I think we still have a chance here. And you know, some of that possession interplay that we've been trying to build is starting to finally come off as we worm our way into this game. Our right back getting all the way forward. We're having trouble picking out the final pass, but there's no doubt we're actually starting to look a little better. And to be honest, I'm actually enjoying what I'm seeing from the team. After that devastating loss last game, we're not looking bad at all as Schultz again splits lines to find Wolf, who's picked up an injury. Hopefully that is not a long-term one because, again, he's one of our best players in attack. As Obi twists and turns, we're just being patient here, working the ball around and seeing some good signs from the team as we try to work our way through the box. I think sometimes I'm trying to make it a little too intricate, but generally that's the philosophy we're trying to build the team around. I mean, we're going to need to be more clinical at some point, but these kind of beautiful passes through, that's what we're working towards ultimately, and we're starting to see some signs of it working. As we play another ball into the box, we're just not quite getting the final ball in, but we're dominating possession, we're looking generally sharp, and this is the best we've seen Union Leipzig look since our first game of preseason. Obi looking comfortable in the box, it's a good chance. The teenager again showing his quality. No goal just yet, but Union, not bad. Unfortunately though, time is running low, and it looks like there may only be one more chance left in this game. A shot from distance, it's wide, and that is going to be the final whistle. Unfortunately for us, there's still no win, but let's be real, a draw in our first ever league game is not that bad, and I saw some promising signs. Again, this is just going to take time. Alright, well, in the aftermath of that game, Wolf has been injured, but it's only for 4 days. Thank goodness. We're going to keep our star attacking midfielder. Hopefully, we'll see a little bit better out of him as this goes on. Not a lot of standout players to talk about yet. Obi's looked sharp, scored 1 goal, but he scored the only goal in 5 games. It's been pretty rough from the team. I don't like what I've seen from Becker so far. He was supposed to be one of our best players, but the defense overall has been so chaotic. One of the other players to talk about, though, has been Schultz, who actually makes the team of the week despite just getting a draw in our first game. I've said it a couple times this episode already, the center back looks really good playing out from the back. I think he'll need to work on his actual defending, but fortunately, he's young and a player to build around. Well, still a lot to figure out. We're gonna get back to the games, but we'll finish it next episode. Thank you guys so much for supporting the first in this series. There's gonna be many, many more coming, and please let me know in the comments what you've liked so far, what you'd like to see different in this series, or just generally how you can feel a little more connected. This channel is more about the long form, showing all the games and more commentary, just getting more familiar with what's going on and all the players. So I want you guys to feel as involved as possible in this series. Join the Discord link in the description if you guys want to talk about the team behind the scenes or get active in the comments here. Anyways, again, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you all next time.